The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report, TV and radio. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report PrimeTime Television. We talk about the situation involving Matt and Jeff Hardy and what might be next for them. Discussion on Impact Wrestling that just went off the air. And also WWE Raw this past Monday night. And a huge announcement with some special guests. This is the Pro Wrestling Report PrimeTime, which starts right now.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television for Thursday, August 25th, 2011. David Hero, what a huge show. It's the biggest Thursday night in professional wrestling history.
Yeah, it's
even counting Thunder. That was a show that was done by...
but some defunct company.
Yes, that went out of business in 2001. Damian Nelson here along with David Octavius and Tiberius, the alleged backyard Hall of Famer. Did you wrestle on a mattress?
No, well...
And this is the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. Huge stuff going on here tonight. But let's first get to our top story.
Can I finally make my announcement tonight?
You're not making any kind of announcement. We've got some special guests who are going to make an announcement later on here in this
but I have
program.
an announcement for myself.
That's irrelevant. Much like yourself.
All right.
Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Hardys back in the news in professional wrestling. Jeff Hardy returning to TNA Wrestling just tonight at their live event in Alabama. And Matt Hardy in the news for some not so favorable items, including getting into a car accident last week and being arrested for operating while intoxicated. Let's go over the notes and the news as it pertains to that story. He crashed his vehicle into a tree and was arrested. Has not been convicted, but was arrested under suspicion of driving under the influence of some substance, alcohol, whatever it may be. He did submit to a blood alcohol level test, a sobriety test in the field, and we do not have the information as to the results of that test at this time. But what has happened since, David Hero, is really almost more newsworthy because TNA has since released Matt Hardy from his contract, and just yesterday Matt Hardy hospitalized after taking a fall in his home.
Could it have gotten any worse for Matt Hardy?
Not really.
Version 3 he's on right now, I think.
Well, hopefully it's not a 3.0 because then he's going to be in some trouble.
And I talked about this on the radio. I blogged about this. I've tweeted about this. I pray to God Matt Hardy gets the help he needs. Because he is a talented young guy. You know, what he's put his body through over all the years, all the TLC matches, the cage matches, everything, crazy bumps, ridiculous falls. Everyone loved him and cheered him then.
Right.
They all loved the Hardy Boys. And then when, things just weren't meshing, clicking for him, now he's, the IWC villain number 1.
Mostly because of his hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, and some of those people on Twitter were a little confused as to his statements when he finally did return to Twitter after this arrest, saying that the blood he felt during that accident was almost angelic. And he feels that he felt as if the demons were being released from his soul and his vices are now all gone.
And I like to try to give my opinion on stuff.
Because you're an opinionist.
I don't know where I would start on this. It's like, Matt, ever hear the term too soon? Wait a couple of days.
I thought you hadn't heard of that term.
Well, it's completely different. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to... he's obviously in the headlines, okay, for all the wrong reasons. Matt loves being on the internet. He loves tweeting. He loves the YouTube videos. Now he's Facebooking. He likes just pushing that envelope and pushing everyone's buttons. Good, bad, or indifferent, he's still getting attention. I think he could have waited a few days to... put it this way. The ink wasn't dry on the thumbs when he's making that comment. All right? Wait a couple days and just see how everything, falls together.
Shane Helms gets into a motorcycle accident. A lot of speculation comes from that. The whole story really not fully known at this point. There's his version, there's other versions. Matt Hardy gets into this situation. Jeff Hardy was in a situation. This all part of the North Carolina clique, if you will, the Omega Group. David Hero, is there a larger issue here that really needs some type of intervention?
I think they all could use an intervention. I think Shane Helms got his wake-up call. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was,
And he answered it.
He is damn lucky he's not dead today.
Right.
I mean, that was a brutal, terrible wreck he was in.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Shane Helms on the ESPN radio show, and he spoke about those injuries and saying that the injuries he sustained in this accident were worse than even the neck injury he suffered while wrestling.
Well, when you hit something going, 75 miles
On a motorbike.
Yeah. You know what? Like I said earlier, I really do, from the bottom of my heart, hope and pray that these guys, that Matt right now, let's focus on Matt, finds the peace he's looking for. And I'm not saying like a peace to just the inner peace for where he can get help for whatever demons, addictions, problems, attention he's craving or whatever he needs right now. Because, you only get so many chances.
Right.
And right now there's not going to, there will be wrestling opportunities for him. Will it be with the E? Will it be with TNA? Probably not. Okay? But for him, he needs to get his lifestyle straight so he can continue a lifestyle of his own.
Matt Hardy, it was revealed by TNA Wrestling, had been suspended. That was something that was not.
And TNA is
The day of or later that next day.
I think TNA was trying to wash their hands as fast as they could. But they could have waited until Monday. Because, you know what? To be honest, what they did was completely wrong. You can't fire somebody on a weekend.
Yeah.
Because you have to give that person the opportunity to contact their attorney. Let's just say Matt could blame all this falling down stress on TNA because they fired him and he wasn't given an opportunity to go see people about this job.
Now, what we don't know were the reasonings behind his suspension or any conditions that may have existed as it pertains to that suspension. But what we do know is his brother, who made his return tonight to TNA Wrestling, didn't get fired right away after his on-air incident at Victory Road.
Jeff Hardy, you know what? Both guys are very talented. The fact of the matter is Jeff Hardy sells more merchandise.
Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, clearly brothers in real life. Jeff Hardy announces 2 days after this happens, after Matt Hardy gets released, that he's coming back to TNA Wrestling. Is there a disconnect there? Is something not right about this whole situation?
You know what? Maybe Jeff thought he was going to take some of the heat off his brother by saying, I'm coming back. So then people will then stop focusing on what happened with Matt, and now they start focusing on what's going on with Jeff.
Should Jeff Hardy be back in TNA Wrestling?
Why not? Of course.
His last public appearance for TNA Wrestling was an embarrassment for him and the company.
Of course it was. How many guys have come back that should
Matt Hardy didn't embarrass the company.
Well, no, it's a different scenario. It's a different pecking order. Okay? Like I said, as talented as Matt Hardy is, he never drew the money his brother did. And listen, in the wrestling business, everyone can be forgiven as long as you sell tickets and you sell T-shirts.
Jeff Hardy announced on Twitter that he was returning to TNA Wrestling at that big live Impact taping. TNA then follows up and announces, as part of their promotion for that event, that Jeff Hardy is returning. Something's not right there.
Yeah, maybe they should have talked about it last week on TV, saying,
really?
The return of Jeff Hardy?
Wow.
That would have helped sell some more tickets.
So somebody picked up the phone and called Matt. You're fired. Somebody picked up the phone within 48 hours of that and called Jeff, said, come on back. Are they playing games, TNA Wrestling?
Not at all. Amazing Red said they don't know how... Well, they all play games, according to Amazing Red.
He was our guest last night on 540 ESPN. Be sure to check that out. Had some interesting things to say.
And he's not the only guy that's been bashing TNA lately.
Absolutely.
How about your good buddy, Mick Foley, the guy that puts your picture in his book, Countdown to Lockdown?
I didn't get a whole chapter.
Well, of course not, because you're not the DWHS, the Hall of Famer. Listen, Mick Foley said he got an upset stomach from the lunch he had with me talking about how I bashed the TNA product. Since he's left, everything we had talked about, he is now bashing on the way out.
Jerry Jarrett, father of Jeff Jarrett, co-founder of TNA Wrestling, has had similar things to say recently about TNA Wrestling, about getting rid of the cancer of TNA, which is the combination of Vince Russo, Hogan, and maybe even Bischoff. Our comments from our TNA talents that we've had on the show recently. Why is everybody listening but TNA?
Because it's a good old boy network down there. It's all of Dixie
Good old girl?
and Dixie's friends. It's Jeff and Jeff's friends. They also had a major house cleaning a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of people that were, some were complete, como se dice, doofuses that CM Punk talks about. Mm-hmm. But there are also some really talented
Spanish?
people. I think so.
Sound like German.
There's also some very talented people in there that left as well, that they should have kept.
And they're probably better off for it. They being those people who are no longer with the company. This seemingly is more evidence of the company problems with TNA Wrestling. And we're not talking about the on-air happenings of TNA. Any good company, Steve Jobs just left Apple, you know. You gonna get an iPhone now? I know you and Steve have heat.
I'm sure he got a tremendous paycheck on the way out.
But Apple's products are as good as they are because the company is run properly. World Wrestling Entertainment's products are as good as they are because the company is run properly.
You just put Apple in the same conversation as TNA.
Well, some people think Carlito's going there.
To Apple?
No, to TNA.
Oh, well, he likes apples.
Exactly. There's your connection.
Gotcha.
That's the issue that many people have talked about, that we talked about at length on last week's ESPN radio show with TNA Wrestling. They've got to wash their dishes in their own sink in order to deliver the product that people want. And tonight's Impact, not bad. We'll talk about it later, but at the same time, it's still a chore. I don't care about Sting Hogan. I know you do. I don't.
Stop.
Collaborate?
And listen. Here's the thing. I never said I cared.
Hey, Triple H.
I never said I cared about
I think you
Hogan
did.
and Sting. No. I said that is a match that will sell tickets. That is the mainstream media crossover match that will get people interested. I didn't say I cared about it. Really? You're slurping on the Miz again? Stop.
Thirsty.
Okay, great. Hogan and Sting are going to sell the tickets. They're going to sell the pay-per-view. Nobody else on there is right now. No one else.
And that's the problem.
Well, yeah, they can't make up their mind with Kenny Anderson. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
He's a driver.
He is a driver. You got Kurt Angle, who a year ago was going to retire. He was going to quit.
After wrestling Matt Morgan at...
no, it wasn't Matt Morgan, because he didn't win the triple threat.
He wrestled Matt Morgan at Bound for Glory
No,
last year.
he did not.
Who did he wrestle?
Jeff Hardy and Kenny Anderson.
Oh.
You're 2 years behind.
That was 2 years ago?
Yes.
Sweet baby Jesus.
So, the problem is, I mean, Jeff Hardy, or Kurt Angle, left his boots in the middle of the ring and left. Now he's the TNA World Champion.
For now.
And he's the bad guy. The fans want to cheer Kurt Angle. They're going to try to force feed Crimson to the fans when the fans might see through Crimson as a Goldberg, 2.0, and they're going to side with Kurt Angle. They're screwing the whole thing up, and now they're going to bring Flair into the mix with Sting and Hogan. But I know why they're doing it. Because
you want to see it.
No, it's the only three established stars that have crossover marketing appeal, that if they send a press release to any radio station or TV station in Philadelphia, those people are going to know those names. They put on Crimson, they put on Fortune, anybody else.
AJ Styles, even, to be honest.
Not
diminishing his power.
Listen, the promotions director, the program director at those stations will be like, don't know who they are.
Yep.
But they see Hulk Hogan, the opportunity to get Hulk Hogan or Sting or Ric
Because
Flair.
it's cool. I get you.
Well, no,
I see you on that.
But when wrestling was hot, those were three of the top guys in the business.
Yeah.
So, please stop. Don't say I'm all about Hogan versus Sting. Never said that. I'll lock up with you pretty soon.
Matt Hardy arrested, not yet charged or convicted. Hospitalized yesterday, released from TNA Wrestling. Jeff Hardy makes his return. Matt Hardy's brother makes his return to TNA Wrestling. The timing's a bit peculiar. And what is next in the careers of the Hardys, specifically Jeff Hardy, because I don't think, David Hero, that we're necessarily too far away from another Victory Road kind of incident, and I do believe that company will let it happen.
There is no way there will be another Victory Road incident.
Before Victory Road, you probably would say there is no way that a wrestler, namely Jeff Hardy, will be unable to perform in the ring.
No, I would never say that. I've known way too many guys that have gone to the ring like that.
But the difference is most can turn it on.
I'm just saying TNA has learned from... That's the one mistake they've learned from, and they're very protective now as to how those matches come off on pay-per-views. Are you kidding me?
Oh, look.
Oh,
Mr. Anderson's number 7 in the PWI 500. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Mr.
Number
Anderson's
7, lucky number 7.
Wow, who's number 1? I mean, who? Do you know who's number 1 in here?
Yeah, he's on Team
500?
Super Friends also.
Number 1. Let's see.
Oh, and there's number 6,
Alberto Del Rio.
Super Friends. I have no idea who that guy is.
Number 4, Kane.
Sure. Ugh. Number 3, John Cena. Number 2, Randy.
He looks like...
Wait, so I have number 1.
Did you see Matt Hardy's mugshot?
Doesn't make it. He's not on Team Super Friends. He is a Super Friend, but not... Wow. My Super Friend team is stacked.
Ho-ho! Look at this! Number 1! 6'1", 231 pounds.
Why don't you show the people at home?
The Miz! Number 1 on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500. The Miz is the best wrestler in the world right now, as named by this magazine. How does that make you feel there, D-Double?
Well, you know, I used to believe...
Awesome! Make no mistake.
Oh, if there's a mistake, that's...
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we've talked about it for weeks, and David Hero, there is no doubt that this is...
You're finally getting what you wanted.
Absolutely. This is some of the biggest news we've ever had, if not the biggest, since our move to ESPN Radio some 3 years ago, rather. And you know what? It's such a big announcement. It is so meaningful and impactful for the future of this show that we've found some special guests to make the announcement for us. So let's go now to some friends of the Pro Wrestling Report who have some news for you about the next step in the PWR saga.
Invincible, 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 invincible. We're invincible.
Yeah, they said we shouldn't. Yeah, they said we wouldn't. Look where we are. We've done what they thought we couldn't. As bad as the odds were looking, push, yeah, we kept on pushing. And every time I nearly hit the ground, you were my cushion. There's evidence that proves that you were heaven sent. Cause when I needed rescuing, you were there at my defense. Girling you.
It's me, it's that D-O-double-G, the road dog, Jesse James, and as always by my side is the badass Billy Gunn. Together we are the New Age Outlaws, and the Pro Wrestling Report is moving to Channel 24 on September 24th. And Billy, tell them.
If you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!
The Pro Wrestling Report is coming to My 24 Milwaukee. Join us as we celebrate with Big Sexy Kevin Nash Friday, September 2nd at Showtime Sports Bar on Silver Spring in Milwaukee. And don't miss Ring of Honor Wrestling when it comes to My 24 Milwaukee on September 24th, followed by the Pro Wrestling Report with all the latest news from WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor Wrestling. The Pro Wrestling Report, My 24, and Ring of Honor coming September 24th. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, and yes, indeed,
Whoa.
David Hero, Prime Time's going big time.
So we're going to go with the Sinclair Broadcast Group?
We are going to be launching on Channel 24, which is indeed a Sinclair broadcast station in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our home base. And who knows what's next after that?
I was going to quit.
Oh, were you? I was hoping
Hold
so.
on a second. Hey, toss it over here. Beautiful.
Really?
All right, hey, Cal.
This
come on.
moment is about PWR.
No,
You're making
no.
it. What do you
Hey.
mean, capital? Oh, okay.
I've got to look good. We're doing the big time stuff.
Hey Dad.
Hey, buddy. Go ahead.
Taco, burrito, french fry, hummus, shabib, cupcake. David, Dead Hero.
Yes! wait. Who's that from? Oh. Did you send Uncle Kev the text? To make sure the super... And Big Sex is going to be in town next week.
Just heard about that.
We're going to celebrate Del Rio style.
It's a party. It's a party.
Wait, you're going to be there?
Absolutely. I'm running things.
Do not bring this Ms. crap along because that's not going to work. And do not wear your punk t-shirt. Yes. I'm not going to leave now. Forget it. Wait, I get a bump clause, don't I?
September 24th on Channel 24 in Milwaukee. Don't you worry, though, if you're watching outside of Milwaukee. The Pro Wrestling Report will still be available on demand at pwrshow.com. And we want to thank the Road Dogg and
I got to call
Billy Gunn,
Jeebs for the... I'll wait till we're
Ring of Honor World Champion Davey Richards, and wait, there's more people talking about this, David Hero, and they'll be on this program here tonight.
So this is the stuff you were pulling off when we were down at Ring of Honor TV tapings, when you were talking to those corporate guys?
Yes.
In the suits?
Yes, which is why I always dress up.
Ooh, nice job, amigo.
Pro Wrestling Report. Prime time goes big time. All the details available at pwrshow.com. pwrshow.com for all those details. And that's going to be a fun night next Friday night with Kevin Nash here in the MKE.
Big sexy.
Celebrating
at Showtime.
the Pro Wrestling Report going big time. Well, David Hero, big time was what Raw delivered this past Monday night, at least from a viewership standpoint, from this viewer's opinion. Raw was a solid show, and the more and more I think about it, I have difficulty finding something bad that happened. We did a post-show on WWE Raw this past Monday night. We talked about it for a good hour with several of our closest friends from all over the country and world. But David Hero, this past Raw, I think, moved in a good direction, kept the flow of stories going, and delivered the product it needed to deliver.
They did a great job of keeping The Miz and R-Truth relevant. I thought that Miz being the
Miz
backup
Truth?
singer was
The Awesome
fantastic.
Truth?
Yeah, I think that's great
No
for those.
backup singer. Why don't you look in this move?
Am I done yet? So they did a great job of
Should be.
keeping the mid card relevant. They kind of buried John Morrison a little bit.
And the
That may have been a message
this-
sent. That may have been a message sent to his girlfriend Melina. Who knows? But the only thing I didn't like is how ADR, Alberto Del Rio, our WWE World Champion, really wasn't given a chance to shine in that opening promo. ADR is not the funny haha guy that's going to go out there and go back and forth with the promo battle that, let's say, a CM Punk or John Cena might have. And they took their shots at him, talking about that his cars are rental cars. He doesn't even own them.
well,
That was pretty bad. It just deflates the perception of that character. Like John Cena's really the hip hop guy he comes out to be. Not at all. Like CM Punk really is the guy that works at Waffle House. Not at all.
Pikeville?
Yeah,
It's a great city, I hear.
I'm sure it's
TNA
tremendous.
does good business there.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is that was where I almost called him TNA. That's where the E kind of tripped and fell. The rest of the show I thought was decent, but when you don't make your champion look strong, what does that say about the rest of the roster?
Isn't the main point of this whole story in which Alberto Del Rio is nothing more than a road bump for John Cena to The Rock at WrestleMania?
Oh, I don't know about that.
As far as WWE is concerned, it seems that way.
Well, it could be, but I think if they have the opportunity here to do amazing business with Cena and Del Rio. You got the rich, handsome, powerful Del Rio.
With the Enterprise Rental Car Emerald Club.
Fine. And then you got, hip-hop machine John Cena. I mean, it's a fantastic heel babyface feud if they really want to make it that way. But they could do it where they stack the deck against John Cena so he has to fight back from underneath. But they don't do that with John Cena. John Cena beats everybody. John Cena will be the favorite going into the match with Alberto Del Rio. They need to have Del Rio start beating everybody by submission, by taking people out.
As he sort of did to Morrison this past week.
Right, and I'm sure he'll do that. He's going to be wrestling Sin Cara.
Friday, tomorrow on SmackDown.
I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens there.
Actually, Sin Cara wrestles Heath Slater tomorrow. I think it's next week Alberto Del Rio and Sin Cara wrestle.
Oh, okay. On the live? SmackDown?
The Super SmackDown on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
We talked about that last night on radio. How lucky were those fans in whatever city they were in to see Heath Slater wrestle 3 times? You know, he's endorsed.
He is endorsed.
What is John Laurinaitis' role going to be revealed to be, especially since he sent Triple H on a wild goose chase this past Monday night to search for Kevin Nash, who had been in a car accident?
I bet he was. He very well could have been. I mean, that have been a big wreck. Could have been something. You're forgetting, Johnny Ace is a little...
Shifty,
shifty, absolutely. If Johnny Ace is smart, he's going to sign Kevin Nash to a contract. Let Kevin Nash take care of CM Punk for Johnny Ace.
But Triple H is in charge.
You know what? Triple H is in charge, but my God, did he look weak on Monday night.
He doesn't look right in a suit. I don't mean, like, appearance-wise, he doesn't look comfortable.
Triple H, a year ago, would have taken a sledgehammer and jammed it down Punk's throat talking about his wife.
Looked like he wanted to this past Monday night.
No, not really. I wasn't convinced about it.
Really?
Yeah, he looked upset, but not like he was furious. Nash was more upset that he was making fun of his wife.
The 3-man broadcast booth this past Monday night delivered tremendously. The team of Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross.
Jim Ross.
Good old JR.
Telling the story. You didn't realize it, but if you truly listen to what JR is talking about, he is laying groundwork for the next few months.
He put little birdies in your ear this past Monday night.
Tweets?
And did so very well, especially as it pertains to the tag team division and the Divas division, which there is no doubt there is a renewed focus on in World Wrestling Entertainment. New tag team champions in Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston, which is substantial. And as you made the point on the post-show Monday night, it's a team that the fans can get behind.
And I think it's the best thing they have done in tag team wrestling
Since the Miz team with the Big Show?
since the New Age Outlaws. Since the Attitude Era, as far as tag team wrestling.
Really?
There haven't been good tag teams since then. I think.
You're an opinionist.
No. I mean, they have an opportunity with 2 strong baby faces, with Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston, to now go out there and put on great matches, and that's what they need to do. They're going to reestablish the tag team division. I mean, let's be honest. A few weeks ago, I even forgot that
Tonga and McGillicuddy?
Yeah, we're even the tag team champions.
Even though they've been on Raw for the past 3 or 4 weeks.
But you still didn't. When you think of the World Tag Team Champions, you didn't think of 2 guys that nobody else thinks of. I'm very, very happy for Evan Bourne. The guy works hard. He puts his body out there. Kofi Kingston, the fans love him. They finally found the right combination for these 2 guys. I hope they don't have those 2 break up and do a Rockers feud, because who would be Marty Jannetty?
Well, there's no barbershop anymore.
Well, I'm sure they could put something
You need a
together.
plate glass window. Not tempered.
Well,
The viewers weren't there this week, though. WWE Raw dropping below a 3.0 rating with a 2.97. Not far, not substantial. I'm sorry, but substantial. And
so
the
the
fact that
hottest
they
guy on
dropped
the
from a
planet,
3.27 last
CM
week.
Punk, who had 3 segments. And they were under a 3?
The fans love CM Punk, David Hero. You can't deny that fact.
I can't, but 3 segments and they're under a 3. He was out there a lot.
Competition isn't Hell's Kitchen on Monday nights?
No, it's Tuesdays.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, well, it might be Monday. I DVR my stuff. It doesn't make it's still Monday Night Raw.
What they've done so well, though, since going into Money in the Bank is build intrigue and leave questions unanswered. And as Roddy Piper said, just when you think you know the answers to those questions, they change the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done that so well, and that's what defines great wrestling. You must tune in to the next broadcast to find out what happened or what is going to happen. And we'll see that this upcoming Monday night on WWE Raw, which should be interesting because there's that unfinished business still on top with Kevin Nash.
And Kevin Nash is going to be there. In Cleveland, is it?
We'll go with that. At the Gateway Gund Arena.
It's, you know what? I think everyone's going to get what they're wishing for. It's obvious this is going to be Nash versus Punk at Clash. Or not Clash, at the Night of Champions.
Wow, really?
Oh,
The Milwaukee Auditorium?
why not? You're going to have Del Rio and Cena, and I don't understand why Cena is so angry with Del Rio.
You know what, you mentioned that. How great would it be if there was one of these 3-hour Raws was the Clash of Champions, or a Halloween Havoc, or dust off some of those properties they owned and make it more, because this still doesn't get much better than the old school Raw that they did. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. It was great. And since we're having all these 3-hour Raws with no reason for them, they should start dusting that stuff off.
I think they might, because from what I understand, what I think is going to happen, what I've heard, is that is the new SmackDown versus Raw game, or the
WWE 12.
Yeah, it's going to have a WCW invasion in there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
It should be very interesting.
Will it be done better than WWE did with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you create your own characters in those?
No, but everybody else does it for us. I think you beat me in a cage match.
Well, of
Who
course
books
I did.
that crap?
Of course I did. I actually want to make sure everybody knows that come PWR Radio on Labor Day evening, I'll be rendering my announcement. I've been talking to some people. I'll be rendering my decision, rather,
We're on Labor Day now?
As to my challenge that I received from former WWE talent Chris Masters.
Well, good, but I gotta figure this out. So you're gonna say yes or no to Masters
on Labor Day Monday? Yes, on 540 ESPN.
Appropriate.
You just keep in mind this, and keep in mind this, Chris Masters, as well. At Blizzard Brawl 7, you don't want none of this, bro. Gun show.
You know what? I pray to God you get in the gym.
It's a gun show.
What are you injecting?
It's a gun show. It's the handle.
Oh. Dude, you've never...
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, we're going to talk about TNA Impact that just went off the air. This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television.
Peter Richards, Ring of Honor World Champion. Pro Wrestling Report is coming to My Unit 4, Milwaukee. Get ready.
The Pro Wrestling Report is coming to My 24 Milwaukee. Join us as we celebrate with Big Sexy Kevin Nash Friday, September 2nd at Showtime Sports Bar on Silver Spring in Milwaukee. And don't miss Ring of Honor Wrestling when it comes to My 24 Milwaukee on September 24th, followed by the Pro Wrestling Report with all the latest news from WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor Wrestling. The Pro Wrestling Report, My 24, and Ring of Honor coming September 24th. Far removed from the days of being forced to change in the hallway, The Miz joins an elite list that includes only 16 other wrestlers.
We're back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had to reading up. You should read this. This is a good magazine. Don't you touch it.
It's kind of sticky.
No.
Come on. Look at this. Cal left this. It's supposed to be... we'll get a new studio now, right?
We are getting a new studio. Brand new look.
So that means...
And the rigging is all taken up by the lights, so there's no room to drop your stupid little gimmick from the ceiling.
It's not my gimmick. It's Ken Anderson.
And his isn't stupid, but when you steal it from him, that's a Class
first
C
of all,
felony.
I can borrow. We have an understanding.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television. Put that away. We can't bicker like this on My 24 in Milwaukee.
Here you go.
How about those stars in the last time out there?
You know what? I gotta say this. You do a lot of things wrong. But that stuff was
including liking you.
But that stuff, well, you can like me on Facebook all you want. But that was fantastic. I'm rather impressed you could pull that off.
There's more to come.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How about
Pulling
that?
on all the stops. You should see the budget.
We gotta.
We have a budget. Maybe some new toys and such.
I'm all about new toys and such.
TNA Impact.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Impact Wrestling.
You know
Brought
what?
to you by Direct Auto Insurance.
Let's just call it TNA Impact because that's what everybody else knows it as. It's TNA
They
Impact.
don't even know what to call themselves. Again, back to the conversation earlier, and I think one thing needs to be made clear.
Did you step on a duck?
I think one thing needs to be made clear is that I should be taking that, but I'm not. Everybody's calling about this move to My 24, David. I have no problem with TNA Wrestling. Okay?
No, of course
I'm a
not.
TNA apologist, loyalist,
Because
whatever.
they give you free tickets. You get to go check out the shows. Philadelphia by...
We're going to be at Bound for Glory. We're incurring expense to go to Bound
Well,
for
wait a
Glory.
minute. First of all, if we got this new TV deal, we can probably, just...
I want it to last more than 1 week.
It's Philadelphia. The Blue Meanie lives in Philadelphia. King Kong Bundy's in Philadelphia.
At No
We're
Surrender,
gonna
we're going
party.
to see AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. Again. A rematch from Destination X.
Because they have nothing else for them to do. And the fans like AJ and Daniels. And it's going to be in Philadelphia. Home of Ring of Honor. Right?
Mm-hmm.
2 Ring of Honor guys.
Shelton
the match
Benjamin and
we're
Charlie
gonna come
Haas?
out and see. Yeah. Tag team champions.
Crimson defeated Kurt Angle by disqualification. Samoa Joe getting involved, and Samoa Joe seemingly has an issue now with Crimson.
Why is everybody picking on Crimson?
He's the next big thing.
Yeah, but keep them focused.
Maybe they want to be next.
You know what I see
You
happening?
think Crimson can come out with some little sparklers one day?
No, he's not Gilbert. That was Goldberg.
I wasn't implying that. I was saying you needed
yes,
pyro.
yes, you were.
There are pyro, comparatively speaking, to WWE are sparklers.
Okay. You're being mean and cruel right now. Okay, Crimson is on your team. Team Family Nelson.
He was.
Oh, you lost him?
John Morrison's back.
I'm going to have to pick him up then. Just in time for Bound
Right,
for
when you
Glory.
replace Awesome Kong again,
Why not? Absolutely.
you're a fraud.
I'm just creative when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm lost. Where are we on this thing?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
He's got an issue with Crimson.
I think, you know what? I think it's too late for Samoa Joe.
You know, unfortunately for him, has he not become
Tito
Hey.
Santana.
meaning?
Tito was a big star.
Tito was
IC
huge.
champ. He was a great hand. They always went to Tito when they needed to help, get somebody else over. Samoa Joe's Tito Santana.
Sting mentions the fact that he sees himself in the ring with Hulk Hogan at Bound for Glory. We talked about this earlier. I'm not sure their horse is
I
still alive.
am not going to bring it up again. I'm done
We're gonna
talking
have to
about
talk
it.
about it. You're going to have to
I'll
use that dry
book
erase
it.
board.
That's fine.
By the way,
I refuse to talk about it anymore.
you have to approve that work order for the dry erase installation in the new studio.
Oh, hey, they got those HP gimmicks on sale. Can you get one of those things where we can move stuff around and
It's not Minority Report. It's the Pro Wrestling Report.
bro? It'll be fine.
Thank you so much for tuning in here to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television.
This is freaking great.
We'll be back again with a brand new episode next week, and we return to Monday night on 540 ESPN this week. And be sure to check us out at pwrshow.com and catch all these episodes on demand. David Hero, anything else before we go? Great. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you Monday on 540 ESPN, broadcasting all over the world at espnmilwaukee.com. The Pro Wrestling Report is coming to My 24 Milwaukee. Join us as we celebrate with Big Sexy Kevin Nash Friday, September 2nd at Showtime Sports Bar on Silver Spring in Milwaukee. And don't miss Ring of Honor Wrestling when it comes to My 24 Milwaukee on September 24th, followed by the Pro Wrestling Report with all the latest news from WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor Wrestling. The Pro Wrestling Report, My 24, and Ring of Honor coming September 24th.